significance of the passage of time.
I can see the future!
Come with me if you want to.
Guys, is Barron Trump a time traveler? Also, is Trump possibly visiting us as a past president from the 1800s? Those are questions that are circling online right now. Now, the Trump family obviously has been quick to deny all of these rumors of the president's son being a time traveler. I mean, like, nobody in their right mind is actually gonna be like, yes, Donald Trump's son is a time traveler, let's confirm this. But that right there is the craziest conspiracy that is currently taking the internet by storm. And interestingly, it doesn't just stop with Barron Trump and Donald Trump. It also includes Elon Musk. It also includes the shooter from the White House Correspondents Center. It also includes hantavirus. And maybe what we should be taking from all of this is not necessarily that time travel does certifiably exist, but that our country has been in a predicament like this before. And somehow, by the grace of God, we survived. So maybe it's not a prophecy, maybe it's just a coincidence, and maybe a lot of history. Now, before we dive into this and I weave this tale for you guys, please make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, drop a comment below, and of course, if you want to stay up to date on everything we're doing here on The Brett Cooper Show, make sure to ring that notification bell. All right, I'm so excited about this episode. My fingers were tingling the entire time that I was writing this. This is just so cool. It's so up my alley. It's like crazy theories. It's niche internet content. I mean, it's not really niche. It's like literally going viral, but it's internet content. And then also at the end, we're going to analyze a book. Like, my English major self is so happy. Like, I promise you people, an English degree, I am putting it to use. All right, anyway. So while this story, this conspiracy theory about Barron Trump being a time traveler is going viral right now, this theory has actually been making the rounds since Trump's first term. So it originally blew up on 4chan, as all good theories do, and a lot of those communities truly believe that Barron was the future of this country and that these books that we're going to talk about are prophecies. But now, fast forward almost a decade, thanks to TikTok deep dives and Reddit threads and viral posts on X, these theories are becoming mainstream enough that actually Lara Trump and Kai Trump are even talking about it. Just watch.
Is Barron Trump a time traveler?
No, he's not.
You sure?
I'm sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know. I've seen some stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
He's not. Don't worry.
There was a book written about the adventures of Barron Trump.
I'm not trying to ruin anybody or rain on any parades here. Barron Trump is not a time traveler. Sorry to say it. I'm sorry. I broke a lot of people's hearts today. Yeah, I think the theory's crazy, obviously. But listen, that should show you out there how much like really crazy stuff exists, okay? Name me one time traveler. Name me anybody who actually can say that that's a real thing. It doesn't exist.
Name me one time traveler. It does not exist. All right, we've heard that from the Trump family. Let's put away the conspiracy. It does not exist. The Trump family told us he's not a time traveler, so obviously let's just believe them. It's debunked once and for all. Now, just as an aside, this is now like so mainstream. Obviously, Kai and Lara are talking about it. The Guardian even wrote an article about it over the last couple of weeks, and they actually had a line specifically about Lara's response here that you just saw. And I am so sorry, Lara, because I do really like her, but this line was hysterical. The author wrote, wow, that was actually a really good point, Lara. I initially thought the theory might have legs, but now that you mention it, I can't actually name a time traveler, not a single one. With analytical skills like these, it is no wonder Lara has her own show on Fox News and once served as the co-chair of the Republican National Committee. Now, obviously, this writer does not like the Trump family, does not like Republicans, but it is quite funny. And like, obviously, no offense to Lara. I went on her show. She was so kind and gracious, literally like flew her entire team, all the Secret Service down to Nashville to work with me. It was wonderful, but in her defense, like, I don't even know how you would respond to allegations of your brother-in-law being a time traveler, but we do have to admit her saying, name me one time traveler, they don't exist, is pretty funny. Anyway, moving on from that, I just wanted to lay that groundwork and give the context that this is becoming pretty mainstream. It's getting a lot of attention these days. So in order to understand this now viral story, we need to take it all the way back to the late 1800s, because this is where this conspiracy theory originates. So Ingersoll Lockwood, who is an American lawyer, a diplomat, and author, wrote a series of children's novellas, which starred a protagonist named Barron Trump. So you can see the covers of the books here. There are two of them. The first one was called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, and then the second was called The Travels and Adventures of Little Barron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger. So you might be thinking, okay, whatever. You know, John Smith, there's plenty of books with people's names in them. I'm named after a literary character. Who cares, Brett? Whatever. But we can't stop there. Because in these novellas, little Barron Trump was a wealthy young boy who lived in some place called Castle Trump and went on time traveling adventures with his dog. And you might think, okay, that's funny. He's living in like the equivalent of Trump Tower, but God, we can dial in even more, because back in the 80s, Trump was actually in the casino business, and for a time, one of of his New Jersey casinos was named Trump Castle. And you can see an old commercial right here. They did all of these like royalty-themed commercials, and then you can see Trump's castle. And again, you might think, okay, whatever, ha ha ha, that's silly, that's fun. But again, the comparisons between Barron Trump today and these novels from the 1800s, they don't just stop there, because little Barron, in these books, he is guided by a mentor. And that mentor's name is Dawn. The mentor, the man who is helping guide Barron on these adventures, time traveling to Russia, time traveling all over the world. His name is Dawn. And also in the book, the Trump family, the family of Barron Trump, is of German descent, much like our modern day Trumps are now. And yet, guys, it still gets even stranger, because Ingersoll Lockwood did not just write The Marvelous Adventures of Barron Trump, he also wrote another novella. This one he wrote in 1896, and this one was called The Last President. It also went by 1900s, so it had two different titles, but most commonly it is known as The Last President. And it follows a unlikely populist leader, an unexpected outsider candidate who happens to win the presidency in the United States of America, ushering in, unfortunately, the downfall of the USA. But listen to this. This author writes, the second book, The Last President, is where things get even stranger in regards to this conspiracy theory. It describes a shocking and contentious election that leaves New York City, Trump's hometown, in chaos. Protesters storm Fifth Avenue, where Trump Tower stands today, led by anarchists and socialists outraged by the election of a populist president. Adding to the intrigue, the fictional president appoints a man named Pence to his cabinet. I mean, come on. It's just like, this is so much fun. It's so crazy, but it is so much fun. But guys, we still are not finished. We have to tie all of this together. So bouncing back to Little Barron and his adventures, you should know that Little Barron Trump in the book, his best friend is named Elon. So now we have Elon Musk accidentally in the mix. Elon obviously makes us think of Tesla, and what do you know? Iconic inventor and engineer Nikola Tesla is also part of this theory. So this is what TikTok has to say. Just watch.
Donald Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, worked for the FBI. Now, when Nikola Tesla died, they sent him in because he's a scientist, he's a physicist, engineer, smart guy. So they were like, hey, go in to Nikola Tesla's, room and decipher all his works and whatnot. Because, Nikola Tesla discovered free energy and a multitude of things, right? So Donald Trump's uncle goes in there and says, we didn't find anything. A bunch of BS. You don't think that Nikola Tesla, who had discovered free energy and manipulated electromagnetism, which had that you can, in theory, bend time, light, and space, this man's works was confiscated by him and he didn't find anything?
So that is the theory that has taken TikTok by hold. And you might be thinking, okay, Brett, this is so weird. It is TikTok, brain rot. Who even are these podcasters with the dramatic music behind it? No. Let's just, cut the tape. Let's move on. This is crazy. But here's the thing. They aren't necessarily saying anything that's untrue, because Trump's FBI uncle did, after his death, go through Tesla's research. Listen to this. On January 9th, 1943, 2 days after Nikola Tesla died destitute in a New York City hotel, the FBI called MIT professor and esteemed electrical engineer John G. Trump to determine if any of the belongings in the investor's estate, which included a purported weapon of mass destruction that Tesla called the death ray, would be dangerous if they fell into enemy hands. So that actually happened. That's Trump's connection to Nikola Tesla. And there is a theory out there that Nikola Tesla was already time traveling, in a sense, that he was, receiving information from the future. He was possibly even in contact with aliens. I know you're probably going like, Brett, hold on. But guys, this is not even like a weird 4chan TikTok theory. Look at this clip from the History Channel.
Some ancient astronaut theorists believe there may be another explanation for Tesla's uncanny abilities and mysterious visions. They suggest these spontaneous episodes are proof that Tesla was receiving information from an otherworldly source.
These images would literally burst into his mind. Somehow, somewhere, some connection was made. And it's the same way that biblical prophets received their prophecy. Nikola Tesla was clearly in touch with something.
You have to wonder if extraterrestrials themselves weren't feeding him images of inventions that only he could understand.
I mean, the entire thing just freaks me out. Like, I've watched that clip multiple times now as I've been putting together the episode. I get chills every single time. I don't like thinking about those things. It is very unnerving to me personally. I also loved this comment underneath the History Channel's video, and somebody said, imagine being so intelligent that people think you are in contact with aliens, which is pretty epic. So now, tying this all back together, the alleged conspiracy goes that what actually happened 2 days after Nikola Tesla's death was that Trump's uncle did find something in his hotel room. He found Tesla's time travel plans, and now the entire Trump family, maybe some elites, but the Trump family for sure, has access to this kind of technology, and that runs congruently with Barron, the time traveling boy from the 1800s theory as well. Or the other theory is that Lockwood, the author, was just some kind of prophet. So there are two theories here: Trump family time travelers, a prophet from the 1800s, maybe they work together, I have no idea, but that is what people are talking about. Now, there is also a whole other rabbit hole you can go down with Tesla. The theory is that he was murdered by the government because he found out how to make energy free, which you can read here. It claims that Nikola Tesla discovered a way to provide unlimited or nearly free wireless electricity to the world, and that powerful bankers, industrialists, or the government stepped in because it would destroy energy profits. Now, people love this theory. A lot of people are 100% sold on it. It's also very in line with theories like the sinking of the Titanic, where people claim that JP Morgan, who owned the parent company of the Titanic and was one of the creators of the Federal Reserve, that he actually sunk the ship because allegedly 3 major opponents of establishing the Fed were on board. They were going to try to convince him, or they were going to stop him from being able to establish the Fed. He was also supposed to get on the Titanic and sail with them. He got ill last minute and pulled out. Then mysteriously, the ship, hit an iceberg and sunk. Not trying to go down more rabbit holes, but just saying those theories are kind of connected there. Just throwing it all out there. Now, speaking of throwing things out, have you made the switch to Pure Talk? Now, paying $70, $80, $90 a month to big wireless for unlimited data is insanity, especially when Pure Talk, which is my wireless company, is going to give you unlimited high-speed data for just $34.99 a month. Now, unlimited high-speed data at Pure Talk used to start at $55 a month, but because Pure Talk is constantly pushing and innovating to give you more for less, you can now get that unlimited high-speed data for just $34.99 a month. So if you've looked at Pure Talk in the past, obviously they've been working with me for years now, you've been thinking about it, but you didn't make the move, check again, the time is now. And if you're wondering, and obviously this makes sense, but if you're wondering, is Pure Talk's network really as good as the overpriced big guys whose billboards we see every day? Just try it out for 30 days. With no contract and no cancellation fees, you have nothing to lose, and I'm telling you, the service is incredible. You can make the switch in as little as 10 minutes, and if you ever need help, their US customer service team is standing by. Just go to puretalk.com/Cooper to claim unlimited high-speed data for just $34.99. Again, that is puretalk.com/Cooper to switch to my wireless company, America's wireless company, Pure Talk today. And then once you make the switch, you can use that new high-speed data to call up my friends over at Preborn. Now, as we head towards Mother's Day this weekend, I would like to urge you guys to consider supporting an amazing organization that truly makes motherhood possible for thousands of mothers in crisis every single year. So Preborn's network of clinics all around the country offer free ultrasounds to mothers in need. And that one moment of seeing their baby on an ultrasound for the first time, hearing that heartbeat, seeing the little baby toes, it doubles the chance that that mother in crisis chooses life. And Preborn then stands by to support her every single step of the way up until 2 years after that precious baby is born, financially, medically, and of course, spiritually. So this Mother's Day, you can be the reason that a scared young woman becomes a confident mother. Just $28 provides one ultrasound that is less than $1 a day, and it could save a life. And $140 if you want to give that reaches 5 different mothers. Preborn is truly pro-mom and pro-baby, not just pro-life. They empower women to be mothers. And the ultrasound is just the launching point. It's just the beginning, because that moment leads to things like maternity care, baby clothes, diapers, counseling, and so much more. So if you feel called to get involved, simply dial pound 250, say the keyword baby on the phone. Again, that is pound 250 keyword baby, or visit preborn.com/Brett to get involved. All right, now back to these time traveling conspiracies, because we still have more. So to make this entire thing just crazier, everybody's talking about Barron Trump. They're talking about 1800s Donald Trump. At the same time, simultaneously on social media, there are a few other time traveling allegations that have also gone viral. For example, this was an email that Jeffrey Epstein was CC'd on in 2011, and it went viral after the most recent drop of some of the Epstein files. So in this email, this person says, Seth, we should explore the biological consequences of time travel. It would be amusing to calculate the rate of evolution of a population or a mutant that can travel in time. Signed, M. Casual. Why not, Seth? Let's just CC Jeffrey. Why not? It's a Monday afternoon. What time did they send this? 2 p.m. on a Monday afternoon. Let's explore it. Why not? It would be amusing to see what would happen to a society if time travel was real. So that went viral a couple of months ago. Now, in addition to that, there have been a few instances of inactive X accounts allegedly predicting the future. For example, people found a random X account that only had one post. In 2023, this person posted the name of the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter, Cole Allen. Nothing else. Never posted any other thing, just simply his name, Cole Allen, in December of 2023. Now, where this really gets trippy and like makes the hair on my arm stand up a little bit is that Cole Allen interned at NASA in 2014. And that happened to be the same year that NASA released a paper that was co-authored by a man named Henry Martinez. Look at the name on this X account. Henry Martinez. Now, Henry and the other authors of this paper were all connected to Lockheed Martin, and this is the PDF pulled directly from the NASA website. The document ID is there in the hyperlink if you guys want to zoom in and look at that in case anybody really wants to get into the nitty-gritty of this paper, but it is called Testing Orion's Fairing Separation System, and this is really where it gets even weirder for me, because not that this all wasn't strange already, but in my mind I thought, okay, well, they were working at NASA at the same time. Obviously, this guy was some kind of researcher, Lockheed Martin, this was an intern, but it was the same year. Maybe they crossed paths. Did they chat in the cafeteria? Like, did he know him? Did he just make a random post with his name? I don't know. It's just, maybe they knew each other, was my first thought. But no, when you look into it, Henry Martinez from NASA was working on the Orion program, which was based in Houston, Texas. Cole Allen was an intern at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which was based in Pasadena, California. So there is barely a chance that they crossed paths. And now to make things even weirder, I feel like I keep saying that, like, to make it even weirder, let's go further. But I mean, that's really what we're doing here. This same Henry Martinez account has this as its cover photo. I first looked at that and I was like, okay, interesting, dripping paint, I don't know, abstract, something you'd see at a modern art museum. But then people on X pointed out that that banner is the header of the EU's Time Machine website. And then people took it even further, because when you alter the image, I don't know how people are doing this, but they realize that it looks eerily similar to Trump at Butler yelling, fight, fight, fight. As you can see right there. Like, I saw all of this and I was like, oh my God, I'm literally going crazy. I need to pull my head out of the sand. I need to go touch some grass because I am like going down too many rabbit holes. Like, I understand how people online lose their minds because this is all so crazy. I cannot even fathom how people went down this rabbit hole in the first place and made these connections. I am not that expert of a researcher. I am just compiling the information for you guys in an interesting story, but it truly is wild. But I hate to tell you, we still aren't finished. We have more to dive into because another random inactive account, this one back in 2022, seemingly predicted the 2026 outbreak of hantavirus that the world is now seeing unfold. This person said it's soothsayer account, June 11th, 2022. 2023, Corona ended. 2026, hantavirus. And if you don't know, there is a strain of a rat virus. I think it is transported through like rat feces, but there is also a human strain called like the Andes hantavirus. There was an outbreak on a cruise ship. Now it's popping up all over the world. It's crazy. If you have not seen it, get your like coronavirus TikTok dances ready, get the fluffy coffee ready. We might be back in lockdown. I don't know, but it's weird. So yeah, take that as you will. Maybe time travel really does exist. Maybe everybody in the world gets to play with it except for us. I have no idea. Or maybe these are just a bunch of very, very odd coincidences. Now, as a little aside, before we get into the like final chapter of this episode, I do want to say all of this reminds me of a really fun time traveling TV show that I watched many years ago. It actually came out in 2016. It was called Timeless. It only had 2 seasons, but I loved it. Like, if you like this kind of stuff, sci-fi, but also you're a history buff, there's a little bit of romance in there. If you want more of this, go check it out. I love it. I might go rewatch it. I'm pissed that they never renewed it after that 2nd season, but anyway, go watch it. It's called Timeless. If you want more of this type of thing, you will enjoy it. Anyway, again, I don't know how many times I can say it. It just gets weirder. All of this is so crazy. And I personally find stories like this, deep dives like this, really interesting, very entertaining and intriguing. Some online, I know, will call this brain rot. They're like, why is Brett Cooper giving this time? But I actually think that there is something really interesting and relevant to take away from all of this. And that actually goes back to Lockwood's book, The Last President. And this is where I kind of want to take a step back from the time travel aspect and actually look at what Lockwood was writing about. And sure, some people might say, yes, it's a prophecy. He was from the future. He knew what was going to happen. But we could also just say that in 2026, we are simply repeating American history. Because when you actually look at what was happening in America in 1896 when Lockwood wrote The Last President, it is almost disorienting how familiar everything feels. Because in 1896, we had a country that had just come through a massive economic collapse and there was a massive wealth discrepancy. This was the Gilded Age. There is also a TV show based on that if you want to go watch that. But regular people in America were watching wealth be consolidated at the very tippity top of society. Meanwhile, their farms were being foreclosed, their wages were being crushed. They felt like the entire entire political and economic system was rigged against them, which honestly it kind of was. Again, true story. That's what we're dealing with now. Meanwhile, the world was experiencing rapid change in terms of industry. There was rapid industrialization and innovation that was dramatically changing the job landscape and career paths for young people. It was changing wages forever. So everybody in the world was having to adapt to that. And so around this time, then in walks a populist candidate. This is a true story. He's a Democrat, William Jennings Bryan. He was this unhinged, crazy outsider that terrified the establishment in DC, in America, but he electrified normal Americans. He made them feel empowered. He made them feel like they had a chance to stand up against the man, like he was their voice up in Washington. And that candidate, William Jennings Bryan, he was the inspiration behind Lockwood's protagonist in the book, The Last President. So all around the country, which Lockwood writes about, this is like in real American history, protests were firing off as angry, disgruntled Americans were standing up to this big business, big government. The anarchist and socialist movements really took hold around that time. Like the unrest in the country was just incredibly, incredibly significant. And essentially, Americans, in large part, thanks to this political outsider who ran, I think, 3 times for president, he never won though, they started to realize how rigged the system was and how fragile the institutions truly were. Plus, they were all pitted against each other. Cities were burning, protests were taking hold. Again, like you heard about at the top of the episode, like everybody protesting and marching down Fifth Avenue. That was real. And so I'm thinking about all of this as I'm looking into his book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that sounds familiar. Like I listened to this paragraph from the book. This starts one of the chapters. The fateful year of 99. Upon its coming in, found the Republic of Washington in dire and dangerous straits. The commercial and industrial boom had spent its force, and now the frightful evils of a debased currency, coupled with demoralizing effects of rampant paternalism, were gradually strangling the land to death. Capital, ever timid and distrustful in such times, hid itself in safe deposit vaults or fled to Europe. Labor, although really hard-pressed and lacking the very necessities of life, was loud-mouthed and defiant. Socialism and anarchism found willing ears into which to pour their burning words of hatred and malevolence. And the consequence was that serious rioting broke out in the larger cities of the North, often taxing the capacities of the local authorities to the utmost. Like, I read that paragraph and I was like, that could literally be written right now. This is something that would like come into my inbox from a Substacker that I subscribe to, and I would not think anything of it. And yet that was written in 1896. So all of this to say, I'm looking at all of this. I'm, hearing, oh my God, Lockwood was this, prophet of sorts. And I'm looking at his novel, his novella, and I see Lockwood writing from a place of fear. He was concerned about what would happen next in this country, considering the political climate that he was living in. And he was exploring what could happen if this outsider that he was watching campaign throughout all of these years, if an outsider like William Jennings Bryan actually got into office. And in my opinion, he did what great authors do best, which was observing the world around him and writing about it, spinning a tale based on those observations. And I think what we can take away from all of this is that maybe the political landscape that we have found ourselves in today that feels so eerily similar to what he was writing about in the late 1800s, one that can feel so volatile and hopeless, like the end is near. Everybody's talking about, 250 years, that's when a republic falls. This is the end of democracy. It's the end of America. That actually, it's just something the previous generations have already experienced and they have already survived. And in my opinion, the question that Lockwood was asking throughout this entire novella was, when does a democracy, or can a democracy, ever become too divided and too distrustful to the point that it is not able to save itself? And it's kind of unfortunate. It's a black pill moment because his book actually answers the question, and he answers it with a resounding yes, like a country can become too divided to save itself. He ends the book with the Capitol literally being blown up. He's saying like it will end at this point of time, which is not really the message that we want to hear if we are relating this to the modern world. But the good thing is, in actual American history, the Capitol wasn't blown up. That didn't happen. We stared into the abyss. We stared into this destruction. We fought to come back, and we're still here in 2026. Now, is our country perfect? Absolutely not. But it is still standing. And there are still good people that are fighting for the values of our country and fighting for what they believe an America of tomorrow can look like, who want to see America and all of its ideals survive. And that is a very positive thing for me to think about. And so tying this all back together with the time travel and the prophets and Barron Trump, all of that, like if Lockwood was actually a prophet, if he was writing about Barron Trump and what happens when Trump is president, then maybe he would have written about what actually happened. He would have written about that. Or maybe he actually is a prophet and we just have another thing coming. He was like, all right, that didn't happen in the 1800s, but get ready for 2026. So either way, let's hold on to our hats because things are brewing. That's all I know.